All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about the brain's secret to learning. We're going to break down how this incredible organ physically rewires itself, literally building knowledge from the ground up, one tiny connection at a time. I mean, seriously, have you ever stopped to wonder? Whether you're trying to learn a new language, pick up an instrument, or heck, even just remember a new way to get to work, how does your brain physically change to make that happen? You'd think it has to be this impossibly complicated process, and well, in many ways it is. The brain is the definition of a complex system. But here's the amazing part. Its incredible power to learn is built on a surprisingly simple foundation. It all kicks off at the level of a single brain cell. Okay, so we're going to start at the very, very bottom, right down at the level of individual neurons. This is where all the magic really begins. So, this big idea is called Hebbian Learning, and it goes all the way back to 1949 with a guy named Donald Hebb. The core concept, it's actually pretty simple. When two neurons are active at the same time, the connection, the little bridge between them, it just gets stronger. Now, the scientific term for this is synaptic modification through correlated activity, but all it really means is they become more likely to fire together again in the future. And this leads to one of the most famous sayings in all of neuroscience. You've probably heard it. Neurons that fire together, wire together. And you got to understand, this isn't just some catchy phrase. It is the fundamental rulebook for how your brain forms connections, creates habits, and builds memories, all on autopilot. Every single time you repeat an action or a thought, you are physically strengthening a pathway in your brain. But, this kind of automatic, bottom-up learning, that's only part of the puzzle. It's all about correlation. What happens when we actually try to learn something on purpose, to hit a specific goal? Well, for that, you need a totally different system, one that's based on consequences. So this next level up is all about learning with a purpose. It's how you figure out what works and, what doesn't to get what you want. And this whole process of learning from the results of your actions, we call that reinforcement learning. And it works in this really simple but incredibly powerful loop. First, you try something, you take an action. Then you see what happens, you observe the outcome, and you get some kind of feedback, a reward, or maybe a punishment. Based on that, your brain tweaks its game plan for next time. And this is so key. This is how we learn from rewards that don't come right away, and from what scientists call reward prediction errors. And get this isn't just some abstract theory about the brain. It's such a powerful idea that we've taken it and used it to solve some of the world's most massive problems. We model this exact process to do everything from understanding decision-making in patients with depression to designing smarter cancer treatments, all the way to teaching robots how to do super complex things. It is everywhere. Okay, so we've got these two amazing learning machines in our heads. One that's automatic, all about correlations, and one that's on purpose, all about consequences. So how do they work together? Well, they team up to build your personal map of reality, your internal understanding of how the world actually works. And this internal map has a name. It's called a mental model. You can think of it like your brain's own private flight simulator, or maybe a blueprint of reality. It's this whole network of connected ideas that lets you guess what's going to happen next, or adapt to a brand new situation, all without having to learn everything from the very beginning each time. Okay, and this is where it gets really, really cool. When that mental model of yours changes and adapts, we call that first-order adaptation. That's just learning. But we humans can do something way more advanced, second-order adaptation. And this isn't just about learning. It's about learning how you learn. It's when you actually step back and consciously change the rules of your own learning game. And that right there, that brings us to the absolute peak of human cognition. It's the ability to turn our focus inward and start mastering our own minds. There's a word for this superpower, metacognition. It literally means thinking about thinking. It is the CEO of your brain. It's the part of you that watches your own learning processes, figures out which strategies are actually working, and then decides how to make them even better. This is the engine that drives that second-order adaptation we were just talking about. So let's put all the pieces together. You can really see it as a kind of hierarchy, right? At the very bottom, you've got the automatic wiring. That's Hebbian learning. One step up, you have the goal-oriented stuff. That's reinforcement learning. And then sitting right at the very top, you have metacognition, that self-aware ability to manage and improve the entire system from the top down. So here's the big takeaway from all of this. Your brain isn't just a learning machine. It's a machine that's built to get better at learning. It is designed to learn how to learn. And that leaves us with a really powerful question. Not for me, but for you. What's the next skill you're going to teach yourself?